Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Tarun, Shetty. Welcome to the Convo Sutra. Here with another fantastic episode. So excited. I'm always excited. This is a great episode with some amazing panelists who you all know. But first, let's do a quick intro for audio listeners.
Hi, I'm Mayuri Bhandari, actress, dancer, storyteller.
Hey guys, I'm Jazz. I host the Hot Chai Pod, a Bollywood film and gossip podcast.
What's up, guys? I'm Pritesh, Shah. I said it right. Actor, comedian, producer, all the above. Yeah.
Pritesh back.
What's up, man?
I love how you looked at me.
Because I love how you say your name so properly. I respect
is
that.
nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
You look clean cut, man. I told you as soon as you walked in, something changed about you.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. You know, sometimes you gotta sexify it. You feel me?
Is this
You had to
sexified
ruin
or
it.
proper?
Huh?
Is this
to
proper
ruin
or
it.
sexified?
Honestly, I'm running out of clothes. Because I tell Tarun, I'm like, dude, I look at my clothes, I'm like, I've worn everything. And
Yeah.
I like
We
wearing.
can switch clothes.
We could probably fit. I mean, you're a little taller than me, but I think our body types are about the same.
Yeah.
We could, but you have a nice wide selection of clothing. You do.
Do
I
I?
like the.
You have a lot of clothes.
I do.
Because I like the clothes I have, and I wear like I think I'm not like obsessed with fashion, but I like to wear things that look nice and fit my body well, and that's it. But I don't have like an extensive wardrobe.
Yeah, me
You know
either.
what I mean? I have maybe like 10 t-shirts. I kind of go through, but yeah, but a lot of people have a lot.
Yeah.
Like
That's all
a
you need,
lot,
though, right?
I mean, honestly, and you can thrift too. Thrifting is such a cool thing, and you can like swap out and whatever.
Yeah, I
you
can do
don't
that.
wear. Yeah.
I mean, I'm the type of guy who buys something and then keeps it
Wears
for a
it.
really long time.
Yeah,
I
that's
take
great.
really, really good care of my clothes. Like I dry clean them when I want to. I wash everything properly. So my clothes look a lot newer than they probably are. But dude, I'm like watching the clips. I'm like, bro, like you've worn everything. Like, I'm going into the deep
Do
parts
people
of my
notice? I mean, do people notice the clothes?
girls do. I don't think
Really?
guys pay attention.
I rewear outfits on my show. 'Cause I ran out too. Like, there's only so many things, like, only so many things that look flattering from a certain angle or, like, or appropriate, you know?
I mean, I rewear stuff all the time, but it's like I try to like not rewear it to the same thing or same group of people all the time, depending on what it
Yeah.
is. But like, yeah, I mean,
Well, we should be though.
Yeah,
Why
they
would you not?
shouldn't-
I mean, guys have always gotten away with re-wearing stuff a lot more,
Black t-shirt.
which I think is
everywhere.
weird. But
I
it's
do
like,
that. Black t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's the go-to.
yeah, exactly. If you have like a plain tee, you can. No one questions it at all.
Maybe
'Cause
that's
you
our
could have-
move. Maybe we need to be in
like
plain.
simple.
You guys are black today.
Yeah, it is
Not
black,
allowed.
black, you know?
Not usually allowed.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, this is driving.
Next
This
time.
is driving Tarun crazy right now. He's losing his mind.
No,
Well, to be fair,
honestly-
there's gold leaves. There's
No.
patterns. There's
Honest to God, I always say, let me know what colors to send. She's the only one that responded this week. What colors?
Message me.
I always ask.
No,
Why
but
didn't ask this
what do I
week.
do? We do this too much now
Yeah.
together. I do it because I kind of know what you're looking for, and I have options in the car too that are different colors and shapes, so like we take care of it. Because I also don't know what I want to wear the day before.
we
dude.
can twin one day. I don't care.
Yeah, we could. Do you
all
know
be in
why else?
black.
Do you know why else you think I look different? Is because I just had a haircut like a couple
Oh,
days
maybe
ago.
that's
That's
why.
actually
the
what it
hair
is.
does look shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
way-
that. That was the point of the
It
cut.
looks nice. Yeah.
Well,
the way he
That
said
happens-
It, I was like,
That happens when you get a
I feel
haircut.
like-
Yeah.
Right, so it was like-
No, you know what changed was because I did an Army commercial back in October, and it was a day before.
reliving the memories of the Army
No,
commercial.
so I'll tell you what happened. I was so the day after, like a couple days after the Army, I was going to Vegas to do a comedy show, and so like I had my hair the way I like to have my hair. And when I booked the commercial, they had a hat on me, like an army cap. So I'm like, oh, they don't have to mess with my hair. I go there and she goes, we're gonna have to cut it. I was like, wait, why? I have a cap on. And she goes, yeah, we have the army people here and they're so strict. They come and measure it. So we have to do a 1. And I'm freaking out. I've never cut my hair this show. I'm like, and I got a show in Vegas. I'm like, I'm gonna look like an idiot. And she's cutting it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this right now. And it's like short, like an army cut. And then I looked at it after. I was like, oh, I think I like this. And she goes, honey, you look good like this. I was like, I didn't think I could do this, but I can do this. So now I kind of get it cut short on the sides and stuff. But it works.
So that's the new look.
Yeah.
Very patriotic.
I'm just it's like people say in LA, it's the new me.
Yeah.
I just feel really reborn because my hair is holding on to a lot of old energy, my old identity.
Mine is
So this
keeping
is like a new.
all the
Yeah.
bad energy. I like it.
Yeah, but
Like a witch.
No, big.
Like a witch.
Jazz,
Like a witch. Hold on.
that energy goes with your look.
Yeah, we harness.
It goes with your look. Yeah.
We hold on to.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in LA you have to have a certain look and image? Because I feel like I can be such a slob, but I try to really dress up when I go out.
Yeah.
Even on this podcast, like how you present yourself, you don't know how it's going to be perceived by the outside world.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Zendaya actually talked about this in an interview with Issa Rae a while back, where she was like, I wasn't seen the way I wanted to be seen because she came off of Disney Channel and she wanted to be treated as a serious actress. So she's like, I went into parties that I wasn't allowed into dressing up the way I wanted to be seen. So I look up, like she dressed up like a model because she wanted to be taken in a very different look.
Yeah.
And so she's like, it worked. She's like, I had to do the work in terms of once I got in the room, I had to prove my acting. But she was like, that the look matters, like in terms of how you present yourself, especially in LA or in this type of work, it does matter.
You have to feed people on the platter of how you want because they can't, like, they're not all creative. Same thing as an audition, right? It's like, dude, I can play that. Oh, but I have to overshow you because you only see a version of me.
Correct.
But
Correct.
LA is a city where you can go to like a 5-star restaurant and like gym clothes and no one looks at you twice. That's for sure different in this city because other places you'd be like, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you wearing,
One
right?
time my cousin came from India and I was touring around. She's like, oh, I love this house. We're driving through like Beverly Hills, like open house, this huge house. It'd be like 20 million. And I was like, want to go see it? She's like, you're dressed in sweatpants. I was like, no, this is the perfect LA look. The real estate people thought we were like these rich Persians or something. She was like, anything you want water? Like she was kissing her ass because she really thought we were like multimillionaires in Beverly Hills looking at houses.
But they know not to judge on the look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I remember one time, one of my first auditions for a film, I was outside. There's a guy outside, kind of tethered and stuff. And I went in and I was like, man, if I had some money, I would have given it to him. Like, poor dude. Seriously, like he looked homeless.
Yeah.
I go inside. He was the director of the film.
God.
And I was like, yo, you dressed like that, bro? And then he comes out to his like nice Range Rover after. And I was like, oh, okay. That was my first lesson. Do not judge based on look here because you have no idea who anyone is. It's wild.
Well, that's the thing. You have less to prove. I think a lot of the richest people that I know are like dressed like semi-homeless, like sloppy, don't care. They just show up because they're like, I'm rich and you're not.
But LA's exaggerated version of that because, like, I know what you're saying. When you have nothing to prove, like, if you go to other billionaires, well, they're just. But at least
Adam
they wear
Sandler, like.
Yeah, but at least his clothes aren't tethered and hold. He just wears very basic clothes, which is fine.
Sam Walton at Walmart.
Yeah.
That was his brand. He would drive like an old pickup truck. The guy was like a billionaire, you know?
Like Warren Buffett. I mean, he's like lives very modestly.
He hasn't changed anything.
Mayuri, what's your look? What's your go-to look?
My go-to look?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a go-to look, but I think for me, it's like, I guess we have to dress up so much for self-tapes and auditions and work that like, I love not, like, I literally like am drab. Like if you see me outside of anything, I'm like, I just, but I enjoy dressing when it's intentional, but like, I honestly, I really appreciate like sustainable, minimal, like not trying to do too much, just trying to be very real. But I feel like sometimes the roles that I'm going, I like to dress for what I'm going for or like how I want to present myself. But like sometimes I just don't have time. So I'm just like.
But I was going to ask you, you said auditions. Do you feel like, because I feel like when I audition, it's like the repeat clothes. Do you feel like you just have the repeat items to wear for auditions, right?
I literally have clothes for like, okay, when I'm playing this set,
Exactly.
and I know what color looks good. I know what works. Oh my God, I use it
when you
all
said
the
that, so you
time.
dress up, be like, yeah, because you know what's booked you, what works, what's flattering, and also because, well, maybe for you probably don't have a lot of stuff with logos or pictures.
Correct.
But as a guy, like if you do, so
Correct.
you want it to be plain, right?
Yes.
So it's like the same 5 things I wear.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So like the acting stuff is like has its own corner, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna reuse it. Oh, this is what it's for, or I have to create something new. But sometimes we get creative because sometimes you'll be like, oh, I know what that person would wear, like, and so you have to like, I'm like, oh, let me grab or let me borrow or let me put this all together. Yeah, it's fun, but I guess I don't know. My go-to look is like I like being comfortable and suave at the same time. So how can I get both? How can I get
Lululemon.
Lord Jesus?
I saw
Lululemon just said
Hold
they're
on.
like workout clothes.
I saw her one woman show.
You did.
Yeah.
And is about appropriation and et cetera.
I mean, any of the fruit companies, stay away. Fruit, flower, aloe, avocado, Lululemon, like anything with these fruit names, it's like, I mean, it's more than that. But I just feel like anything with those names, especially, I'm like, just.
Did you hear about the whole like Aubrey Marcus thing? So he's a big podcaster. I've only like seen one thing of him, but he's pretty influential in that world. And he's married, and he's like kind of like a spiritual podcaster. Long story short, he's married, but then he said that this goddess Isis came down and spoke to him that he needed to get another woman pregnant. So he got on Raya, found like the first 28-year-old beautiful girl that he matched with, got her pregnant, and now he's like in a throuple. And he says it's because God came down and spoke to him. And in one of the interviews, his wife is like crying, but then also so manipulated in the head where she's like, well, I just want him to be happy.
He doesn't love you.
That spiritual community ego that it fuels, and these people start acting like God.
What you're saying is not a new thing, though. I mean, that's a thing in history. Like
What are you talking about?
David Koresh or cult leaders or any spiritual leader.
Yo, I mean, the amount
When
of
Mayuri says "yo," you know it's serious.
I wanted to bring it up because I know we agree on a lot of stuff, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
No, I mean, I don't. I'm just going to agree with that because I just feel like it's crazy to me how these things, which are actually not necessarily about restraint, but overcoming, as you're saying, have become the exact antithesis of that. I
Right.
mean, how do we exploit it to the point where it's not even just that's not what it's about? It's the exact opposite of what that it's
Exactly.
about. And if you actually speak up on that or voice on that, they actually shame you for saying, no, this is about peace and love.
Stop being so judgmental.
Right.
restrictive.
And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, this is,
Yeah.
and you, and then you get attacked or being seen as the fact that you're complaining when you're
Yeah.
speaking from the community as a minority in something that comes from your background. It's just like the most twisted work, and it happens
Yeah.
with so many cultures, right? It's not just Desi culture. This is has been happening with indigenous cultures, Black cultures, Latino cultures, like so many cultures around the world. And so it's just like, it's high time now where people are like seeing these things and they're like, oh, it's happening with you too. It's happening. And it's like these conversations are being talked about, but nothing's actually changing.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. It helps us so much. Thanks. Mayuri, what?
Well, I also feel like people confuse attachment and love. Like a
Yes.
deep attachment versus love. And love is unconditional. If we really look at what love is about.
Yeah.
Wait, say
it's
that
not-
again? People confuse attachment and love?
Attachment and love. Like love is supposed to be unconditional. It's not with conditions.
Lack of expectations.
Well, I mean, it depends on like there's so many types of love also, but I think just love in general. But if we're talking about like romantic love, for example, people confuse like I'm deeply attached to a person thinking that they love them
Yeah.
when it's really just a really strong attachment, and it's going down a
Yes.
craving and a desire, which is almost, if we're talking from a spiritual lens, that's not necessarily what it's about. It's like when we talk about, then you are only loving specific people.
It's
What
also like
about-
a trauma bond thing that happens a lot.
Or
it could-
codependency.
Yeah,
It could be.
codependency,
It could
yeah.
be.
I'm a huge codependent. And I'm like,
No, wait. You say that stuff, like, can you be specific? So, because you never get specific.
telling you.
Okay.
I'm explaining it. I feel like I'm looking for like my mom's love from women. I think that codependency comes from childhood stuff. And yeah, it kind of messes up my relationship sometimes.
Are you talking about emotional codependency?
Yeah, I'm not hooking up with my mom.
No, obviously. I'm talking about,
talking about?
well, the reason when we talk about codependency,
Yeah.
like our parents, baby boomers, right? I look at codependency, like, for example, my father provided, my mother took care of the home and the children, and that was their codependency. Like, they both needed each other just from that material aspect, right? So, like, when you're in a relationship, what do you feel like you're depending on the other partner to fulfill that feels like a void when they leave?
I've always felt like I'm kind of like number two, which is fine. You know, like they've always had their careers going at the same time. And so you're kind of fighting for space. I feel like I'm on this island by myself, sort of. And I've got to I can't rely on other people.
But you've said before that career comes number one for you.
I have made mistakes where I've invested a lot of time into women to elevate their careers. Man, I've gotten so many careers going in this town, you have no idea. Like, you know, just women who are struggling. And then,
Shout out everyone if you're interested.
no.
Tarun's gonna get so many DMs right now. You know, actually, I was looking for an agent.
Oh my God. Anyways,
So do you feel like you get over because I've been guilty in my own way, which is like I felt like I had to work really hard for love. That was my
Yeah.
own like childhood stuff. Where all my time, my thought process, my investment, my energy went into the other partner. And that was my doing. They weren't even asking for that. And then what would happen is eventually you get resentful because you can't handle that. And so I wasn't having like holding enough space for myself within the relationship. I was getting lost in the relationship. It would take everything from me. There was no balance that I had for
and
myself.
You learn from
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
What do you think, Mayuri?
On what exactly? Because you were reflecting.
How do I fix my life? Tell me.
I don't know. I mean, it goes back to, I think, what we were talking about earlier with Natasha. This idea of being single, right? And how people look down upon it, maybe, or was the conversation, right? And so I just feel like, you know, why in this era are we like having other people feel bad about that?
Yeah.
Like it should never be.
Yeah.
But like there's a sense of, there's a difference, I think, between being alone and feeling lonely.
Yeah.
Big time.
And you know, if you're a person who's like good with where you're at and you're more blessed and you want to be on your own and learning and growing and you're happy with where you're at, that's a beautiful thing. And quite frankly, it's nobody else's freaking business.
I don't really believe in happiness anymore. I believe like I'm here to like struggle and like suffer and like work. So that's why
Maybe
I
in
don't.
this life, Tarun.
Yeah,
I gotta read your Vedic chart.
that's why I don't mind working so much because I'm like, this is like my path.
I mean, to clarify, it's not saying that our life is suffering. It's saying, according to Buddha, he's saying that, desire brings suffering.
Yeah.
And so, it's that constant chase for the next thing to make me happy, right? So it's
And
a
it's
craving.
not just career; it's everything, relationships, everything.
It's either craving or aversion. I like this, I don't like this. I want this, I don't want this. And that game continues to bring suffering rather than what does it mean to be content? What does it mean to be neutral? That doesn't mean I can't strive for things. I can't want things. And that's the hard balance is like, what is me going for I always tell people, and I always ask this of myself, what is your why? What is your intention for the thing? Because if your why is strong, it's for yourself, it's intentional, then that may bring about a different outcome. And so I just feel like, for you or for anyone, it's like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And how do I find, to your point with what you were saying, I'm not trying to chase this happiness anymore. It's like, what is it that's going to bring me either a calm, a balance, a neutrality, maybe even.
No,
but
it's your ego at this point.
No,
It's
but this sense of self and power, and it's never going to stay that way. It's a constant practice.
Yeah.
We have to
It's like the
constantly work on
samsara,
it.
right? They talk about
It is
endless
samsara.
cycle. Samsara, the
Yeah,
endless
yeah.
cycle.
Yeah, so what?
Oh, I don't know. I was just, I was thinking that,
She was thinking about
She was thinking about the
conscious love party right now.
I was thinking about the conscious love party and external fulfillment. But no, I randomly heard this like Kabbalah clip, so I'm not a Kabbalist, but it was like, you can want something, but you shouldn't be like, I'll be okay without it to get it.
Yeah.
And like, you shouldn't be placing like your primary fulfillment in like an external
That goes along with what she was saying.
achievement
Yeah,
or
yeah.
thing or person. And like, somebody asked me a couple weeks ago, like, oh, describe your perfect day. And I described it.
Go to the podcast.
Go to Convo Sutra, get some free coffee, and
Hang out with my dog and talk Bollywood.
I mean, I like listed like a whole day, and they were like, you didn't put a partner anywhere in there. I was like, I'm not gonna make my perfect day dependent on some person that I can't control, or I don't. What if I never found that person?
But you don't even have to put a partner in if someone asks you that list if you're with a partner.
Exactly.
Right? That doesn't mean you're excluding the relationship.
It was on a date,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
then they were just a little like, oh, but my perfect day. But I'm like, so you could never have a perfect day as it stands now because it has to be a future state when you're partnered up.
I mean, that's solid, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I didn't like it.
Do you ever feel like, are you living your life right? This is more like, I'm projecting here.
Do we ever?
Honestly, sometimes I wake up. I was working last night. Like I'm always editing this fucking podcast. I'm always like, is this what I'm meant to do? Like, just I'm putting so much time. Do you ever like wonder, like, are you living your life right?
I think it's going back to like, what are the surface? We deal with so much surface bullshit all day
Yeah.
long, and like when we're actually calm and still, if we get to that place, can we ask the deeper questions of what's really going on? And to what they were saying earlier, it's like focus on the work, not the outcome. And that's really hard to do. But then why are you doing, why
are you doing the work, though?
But exactly. So you have to ask yourself, is that the work I really want to do? Or is there something deeper that I'm not addressing? Or this is just surface, like immediate level desires or things that I want to do that it's actually deeper. But maybe you'll only know by doing it and figuring it out.
Yeah.
Solid point. Yeah.
But I do feel like we can't ignore something, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, that there's like a microcosm and a macrocosm, right? There's like your inner world, and then there's like we are connected to other life. We are made of energy.
Yeah.
Other energy affects us. And so the world is messed up. We're made of sun, soil, water, air. If those are messed up and poisoned, so are we. Depression doesn't just happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like these affect us whether we realize it or not. So I feel like the world is in a messed up place.
I didn't say I'm depressed, by the way. I'm
No,
fine.
right? Like, no. I'm not saying that. I'm going
It's
off
an
on a little
intervention,
bit.
though.
Turn. I know.
No, but like I mean, it's a fact, and so that does subconsciously affect us whether we realize it or not, along with our own internal stuff. But I think it's hard for us to be like, I mean, as much as I want to say I like want to be calm and stuff, I'm not yogic at all. Like honestly, like I mean, driving in
I
LA.
wanted to kill someone in 4 or 5. I had
I literally
I
say
have a
that.
violent thought. Like that's not yogic at all. I have violent
literally-
thoughts all the time.
I literally have a line in my show. I'm
I
like,
want to punch Tarun all the time, dude.
You just have to acknowledge the thought and let it pass.
Well, yeah, it's witnessing, of course. So
Yeah.
I've become detached where, when we create that story, when someone makes you mad, I'm sure we've all done this, where and then you start creating a story like, he's probably doing this, he's probably doing that.
Yeah.
And then you realize none of that's true. It's just like we created that whole thing. And then my whole body got heated and I put myself in like a physical state that wasn't feeling good.
Pritesh, I feel like, and this isn't not an insult, I feel like you have an internal anger, like this rage, because I can identify with you, like when you text me sometimes, and we'll just like go off on people. But like,
Actually, don't go off on people if you read the text. I don't feel like we actually go off on people.
No, you do, not him.
No,
no,
we
I'll
don't.
go off on people.
But I actually disagree with you because I think, I know you joke about it, but you're pretty objective about
No, I'm
it.
objective about it, but like I will call people out when.
But that's not going off on people. Going off on
yeah.
people is, I feel like, would be like coming from a place of non-truth. You're speaking and seeing as is and reflecting on what.
Hey, don't switch it on me. This is about you.
I just gave you a compliment.
He did give you a
I don't want
compliment.
The point is the insult.
He doesn't know how to take it.
Look, I wore a button-up shirt and I got a haircut, dude.
I do appreciate you.
Usually not. I'm confused.
Apparently
I'm
not.
confused.
I mean, Natasha said I look nice and you said I look nice. Maybe I'm wearing too many t-shirts and I'm not bringing it.
I've always said,
You look
man,
nice when you come in a polo.
Yeah, that's
your arms are selling this podcast, man. Every week. Yeah.
podcast.
Girls are clicking in every week to see how
I'm
Pritesh's
sure.
arms are doing.
I'm sure that's exactly what it is.
You brought up your work, and there's a common thread here that we all have made something. Your one-woman show. Is this still going on right now in LA?
Not in
People buy
LA,
tickets?
but we are doing it at the Edinburgh Fringe
plug.
Festival. If anyone's in the UK, Europe, Scotland,
Months straight.
like,
That's
from months
That's
straight.
freaking awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So Edinburgh Fringe. I didn't even know this. Edinburgh Fringe Festival is like one of the biggest theater festivals in the world. It's like 4,000 shows playing for a month. Like almost every day, if not every day. And so, yeah, it's going to be amazing to take it there. So we're very excited to have people.
How many people are you going with? Like to put on the show, how many people is it?
So it is a solo show, so it's just me. But I do have a percussionist in my show. Shout out to Neil Agarwal, who's amazing. He's
great.
He's incredible.
So he's coming, staying.
He's
doing it with
coming.
you?
So my team, they're being so sweet. Like they're trying to figure out how to come because I can't afford to bring everyone. Our fund to raise this money already was so much. They're like figuring out their way to come for a little bit, support, and then.
Yeah, but so I was wondering, you have the
team members.
percussionist. What do the other team members do?
So
for you?
literally, we have a lighting sound person, but we get them there. We get them over there at the Fringe. There's other management people who are already going to be there. But our team is quite small. You know, I have my co-directors and team members, Reina and Siona.
Yeah, I met her.
And yeah. And so they're coming as well. So we're very
awesome.
lucky that, they're coming along. But it's a very small team.
What have you learned from making your own stuff? You made films, you make a Bollywood podcast, you made a one-woman show. Like, what have you actually learned?
And I'm going to ask the same question to you afterwards.
sure.
But yeah, I want to hear this.
What have I learned? Just from a artistic perspective.
Without quoting anybody.
So I made 3 short films. I made 3 short films. I'm producing 2 features now that I'm in the works in, right? The main thing I learned is I don't mind the response. I've learned how to manage people better. And I don't mean that from, obviously there's natural hierarchies, but just under a lot of times you're on set, it's just it's a psychological healing session. Like you're dealing with people's vulnerabilities, acting's vulnerable, you're dealing with people's days, what they're going through. So having a lot more grace for people with that. Honestly, I remember once someone said how does anything ever get made? It's magical. It really is. It features harder and I'm looking forward to getting that done, but to get the location, to get everyone to do this one thing, to be unified in this artistic goal and have all these different personalities, location, production designer, everyone's so equally important. Sometimes I look back, I'm like, I don't even know how it all came together.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's a higher power. And so when I get into that flow, I do feel that. That's usually, I try to let go of control, which seems kind of counterintuitive because when you have money and a project and people at hand, you would think you try to take more control, but I've always felt that not go well. So I kind of I think I've learned to this is my thought. It's real in the realm and it will come about. Letting go of control. Like I said, I've always battled control, to be perfect and things like that. And hasn't always led me down a good road. So I think making is just letting go and trusting people. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Trusting myself first, actually. If I don't trust myself, where I'm I'm going to suck, or I'm going to mess this up, or the investor is going to be pissed off at me, well, I'm already setting myself up for a pretty bad situation.
It's funny you say that. I would never expect that answer. You don't seem like a guy who has any insecurity about like trusting yourself. I would feel like you're very confident in what you say and do.
It's
your
funny
actions.
people say that. It's like that might be like an outer, like someone asked me that, like, were you like a jock in high school? I was like, no, dude. Like, dude, I had, not to make this about me, but just a little backstory. Like when I was a kid, I had the worst case of eczema Seattle's Children's Hospital had ever seen. My shirts would stick to my skin because there was so much pus and blood every day. I would be in the swimming pool with a full t-shirt. Like God saved me. I never put eczema on my face, but it's the worst case. I literally remember being 9 years old. I came down at night to get water. My mom was crying and she was like saying like, no one's ever going to love my son. He's unattractive. Like no girl's ever going to want to be with him. I overheard her saying that. So like my childhood was rough. So like those types of things stick with you. So like people see what they see now, but like those things were a massive growth. Like it wasn't like this when I was a kid.
I know you've gone through some stuff, so I appreciate you sharing that stuff.
Yes, that's it.
Jasmine, what about you?
Well, we're coming on about 1 year of Hot Chai Pod.
Congratulations.
Let's go.
You're 1 year too.
Yeah,
It's
just
like everyone's
about
1 year. Look at that. Yeah.
I didn't realize how it's you haven't done it for that long. And it's like
do you
picked
mean?
up. Like
Oh,
Hot Chai
yeah,
Pod's only been a year. Yeah.
It picked up pretty quick, which was crazy. But I guess, it was a weird learning. I mean, I'm not coming from any kind of entertainment background or never been to an audition. That's just not really my field. I've been in research and I've been in tech. And to put myself out there in any kind of like fun, frivolous way was actually extremely challenging for me because I like have prided myself on being taken so seriously and like, especially as like a young woman in tech and what you have to come across a certain way and I'm super smart. And so to do like a silly gossip.
I'm super smart.
Well,
That's what she's learned. That's what she's learned.
You want to come across that way.
Yeah.
You have to be taken seriously if you want to be promoted and manage
you
teams and
present
stuff.
yourself.
You are very smart, by the way.
Thank you.
I've never said that about you.
You don't need to.
Okay.
You can see the gossip side.
Okay, yeah.
And so, I'm like, well, this is such a random, raw part of that a lot of people don't have access to is to see this like silly, like talking about nonsense. It is nonsense. Like, oh, is this celebrity dating this person and why? And did they cheat? And like, what is this? Who cares? But people care. And I care. And I care.
People do care.
A lot of people care and I care, right? So I'm like, this is authentic to me. I'm so in touch with this part of my culture that I don't really get to share with anyone except my mother. And that I've actually explained that on the first episode of like, I only started this because I only talk about Bollywood with my mom. And I guess I've had to learn to like take myself less seriously, not try so hard. That's kind of come in recent months. I had taken a couple hiatuses because I was like, what am I doing with this? Like interfering with my new tech projects, which are kind of more consuming. And so then I become more left-brained again. And I'm like, oh, I'm not in the vibe to go and record and be silly because I'm in my work mode. And so I'm like, no, I have to keep detaching and just go and speak as though I was on the phone with my mom. So now I'm just trying to like brush it off, just sit in front of the camera and just babble. No script, just like a few notes. And I've learned like, okay, that actually is resonating with people too. So maybe
You trust yourself. Talk to Pritesh.
a little bit.
I have a lot of work to do still.
I don't trust myself fully, but I'm just like, okay, well, it'll also take shape as it needs to, and I'll just have to trust the process, kind of, not trust myself.
That's great. Yeah. I don't know. For me, I feel like it gave me a power, a trusting of self, but also like I was finally like leading stuff of my own, like producing, creating. It was my first creation, first time investing in myself, which I was like, why didn't I do this before? Because it feels like a risk. But it was like, I feel like it's so important to trust our intuition, and we do doubt ourselves. But I feel like once I started doing it, it was like I put so much in the work that I was able to enjoy the performances. But I was like, I come from a place of like, don't make mistakes. Like, sometimes you're raised that way, you're conditioned that way. And this is allowing me to be like, let me fuck it up. Let me play, let me try, let me, and it was also, I was blessed that it was received very well. So not the first time out for everyone, they get like, such a great response. I luckily did. So that did help boost my validation that, as actors, we say we don't need validation. It helps a lot, And so I just feel like for me, what it changed was owning myself, getting out of feeling like I helpless in a way, like that I had to rely on the industry and auditions to be seen the way that I wanted to be seen, and to network and connect and just put myself out there. So it really brought power back into me, and collaborating with people, with letting go of maybe not control but very similar, like where it was just like allowing the trust of the work to connect with other people, and the right people come along. I'm very particular about who I bring on my team.
You have a great team.
No, I really do. I really do. And I continue to add on, and they love the work. If they see it, that's all I need. And they give more than I would expect.
I told your stage hand person,
Siona.
I
Yeah.
said, hold on to Mayuri like a rocket ship, and just go on door. I was like, she'll go places. And she was like, yeah, I agree.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, it's. I think it's team. It's like your vision, trusting yourself, and also not doubting yourself when nobody else is around.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is my first time at the writing, I didn't know solo theater. I didn't know how to write that way. And working with people who are more experienced and people you're like Dilo and Shamala, and like they know what they're doing. But there were times where I was like, I had to fight for what I wanted to keep in, and I didn't know why, but I was like, no, that has to stay, or that section. It's like. You have to let your intuition, no matter what anyone is saying. And then there were times where I think some team members saw later, oh, that's what you were going for. I see it now. And I'm like, well, you didn't see it until I could show it to you. So we have to keep it there. You know what I mean? And so that's empowered me really to be like, okay, let's go. And also like that everything that I've been doing in my life has led and helped. It's not like this happened overnight, though people may feel that way. Oh, you've been working on it for 9 months. That's great. It's like, nah, I've been working on this my whole life. I didn't realize it. You know what I mean?
Just came to
culmination.
fruition, right?
Yes.
We have to wrap up.
No, but real quick,
sorry,
no, we want to hear from yours.
So
I do want to hear.
two things. One, I'm very introverted, and I feel like I have this ability to get people to do things, like a cult leader for some reason, and they will follow me for some reason. And but in my mind, I feel like I'm just not likable sometimes, but like I can convince people to do things, and I've done that for like decades. And two, I'm almost like psychotic with. I've failed so many times. Like people only see the victories, but like I've failed like hundreds and hundreds. Like, there's so many pilots and things I've made. This has been a complete debacle, and I'm like psychotic where I'll just keep moving forward. Like I don't know why. So I've got this tenacious ability. So I really learned that.
Do you still approach everything that you create from now on with that in mind?
What she said, more intuition. Like even this podcast was more like this thing kept coming again and again, and I was like, I have to do this. So that's where I am.
That's interesting. I didn't think
No,
that would
I'd
be.
love to hear more. Yeah.
I didn't know, he was surprised by my answer. I didn't expect that answer.
No.
From
Well,
Look at that. Adorable. I love it.
text me tonight, and I'll tell you. When you text me,
Voice note you along.
when you text me 80 times a day, I'm 24/7, so you can text me anytime. I don't even mind it at all.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Where can we find you on Instagram? Or anywhere?
Oh, well, at Mayuri Bhandari Official, at The Anti-Yogi Show, also on TikTok, at Mayuri Bhandari Official. Bollywood on Ice on YouTube. I know the handles are all different. But also my anti-yogi people, keep out for part 2. Sensuality will be coming out next year. So we're very, very excited for that. So thank you.
You guys can find me at Hot Chai Pod on YouTube for the show, and on Instagram for all of our fun polls and gossip.
The gossip. And I'm at the Pritesh Shah on everything.
That's great.
I'm at Tarun Shetty, and shout out to You Podcaster Studios for hosting us today. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please, like, subscribe, share. I know I say this every week, but please, help get the word out. Sponsor this. Forward this to a friend. One friend makes all the difference in the world. Leave a comment. Interact with us. Send us hate mail. We love that too.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Actually.
And
Nice.
Comment.
Any
Tell me if
amount.
you like this shirt, please.
if you like a shirt, please leave a comment.
Tarun does.
And we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.